Welcome to a conversation with the Chancellor with DCCCD Chancellor Joe May. Our panel includes leaders from Richland Student Media and Student Government Association. The conversation will focus on the district's one college transition. Thank you for joining us, Dr. May.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you. Thank all of you for making time this afternoon, and look forward to our conversation.
Of course. So I'm Adrian Aguilar. I'm editor-in-chief of the Richland Chronicle over here on campus.
All right, very good.
And so let's get started with the $1.1 billion question. Sure. So can you please discuss the lawsuit against the Dallas County Elections Department citing voting irregularities in the recent bond election and how the district plans to move forward with that?
Sure. As you know, we went to the voters back in May asking them to support a $1.1 billion bond to really build out our colleges to better meet the needs not only of students in the next few years, but well into the future. And we received 71% voter approval, which is a real testament, I think, to the great work that goes on here at Richland and our other 6 colleges throughout the district. Someone did file suit related to the election. So it's not about anything in the bond package, or it's not about our process and procedures. It was that they believed that there were some voter irregularities. Now, and there can be things happen in elections. That's handled by Dallas County, so they're the ones really responsible for that. We don't run our own elections as such. So we're a little bit of an observer in the process, even though it affects us, because no lender wants to lend you money if they don't know that you're going to have the ability to pay it back, right? So that's the trouble. We believe that's going to be dismissed fairly quickly once it gets to court, which is now scheduled for February 28th of 2020, and hopefully will be resolved quickly. But it is causing us a delay. But it's not slowing us down in terms of the ability to plan. So we had identified about $297 million worth of projects that would be a part of the first phase, which would involve all 7 colleges, 6 in terms of specific construction projects. And downtown with El Centro was going to be dollars for really planning and doing some design work for construction that would probably occur about 3 years from now down the road, and getting that underway. The bigger the project, the longer it takes to plan and make that happen. So we're really optimistic. If the vote had been 51% to 49%, maybe I would worry that there would be some votes that got thrown out. But with 71%, they would have to throw out over 50,000 votes, and we just don't see that as happening. So it'll be resolved and move forward. But it is a bit annoying, as it's taken time away from us getting started on some very important projects, including right here at Richland College.
It's good. I'm glad we have the ability to move forward, even though we're at a standstill. So thank you for that.
Oh, hi, Chancellor May. Thank you for coming.
You bet. Glad to be here.
Well, my name is Edward Cisse. I'm the president of the Student Government Association here at Richland College, and my major is political science. And my question is to you: will the culture of the individual colleges be retained regarding athletics, school mascot, student media programs, and student government associations?
Well, one, we had a meeting with our leadership team, including Dr. Kay Eggleston, the president of Richland College, that's here. And we really talked about this as a very important topic because we know that there's some things that we really need to do differently in order to better benefit students and help you be successful and get the degrees that you've earned and be able to, assuming you're going to transfer if you're going into political science. Okay, yes, where are you planning to go?
UNT.
Yes, great. So that's important. But we also realize that there's some uniqueness about each institution that we really want to support and retain. So you ask a list of questions there. More than likely, all of those will be around in some form. Obviously, if they're important to the school, but that's really up to somewhat of a local discussion. Right. That's not something that we will really get into across as we go to one college. That's really still a local campus decision. And what we want to do is really free up the barriers and get them out of the way that's causing students not to be able to easily move through and get degrees, while also freeing up the college leadership and the folks here at like Richland College to be able to really help create this type of climate, an environment and culture that's very important to you and all your classmates.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, Chancellor. My name is Kimberly Lee, and I am the Vice President for our student government here. And I am also a design management major and a marketing minor.
Okay.
And my question to you is, how have students been contacted regarding the transition, and how will it affect them?
Yeah, great questions. Students on the transition. At this point, it really is kind of an administrative process on the end. The accreditors have some paperwork that we have to go through and do that. We have to do a little bit of work with the Department of Education. We won't know their stand on it until really next June. We'll submit the paperwork to the accreditors by March 1, and then they will take it up at their June commission meeting when that's held. So up between now and then, there's really no impact on much of anything, because it's kind of like we have to wait and see what happens. But let's say that they do move forward, then we're going to have to really come together and talk about it. Now, our goal in all this is to actually remove barriers for students and hopefully improve the ability. Right now we have about 22,000 students that are going to multiple of our colleges at the same time. Any of you doing that? Are going to more than one college? Or here beside
We
me?
know students,
Yeah,
but
we
we're
know
not those students.
Well, good, and because that's really hard for them, because they're having to travel and commute, and sometimes it's necessary because the degree they're earning may be at another college, but they live closer here, and so they want to take advantage of it. But we really want to minimize the challenges and allow the students to more easily navigate that system. And if they choose to do that, that's great. But we want it to be as easy for them as possible.
Thank you, Chancellor.
Thank you.
Hello, Chancellor Mary. My
Hi.
name is April. I'm currently our Region 2, TDCSG Region 2 representative for student government
Great.
at Richland College.
Congratulations.
I'm majoring in environmental science, actually.
Okay, super.
And my question for you is, will one college transition result in the creation of more programs of study?
Will it result in more programs of study? I think ultimately, yes, it will. What we really want to do is to leverage the expertise of our faculty and be able to build off of strengths across the district. Each college has some unique programs, but also, even where they're the same programs, we can have faculty with different expertise and knowledge and skills and background that they can bring to the table. So we haven't always leveraged that for the benefit of students and the community or employers, and that's really an idea that we want to capitalize on as we go forward. So as we think about how we organize the academic and educational programs, we're really thinking about kind of in a way that would be schools of science and technology, for example, maybe one, or health science, maybe another, or others, where within that we can identify then more easily what assets we have in programs that we're offering, but where the gaps are that are there, which will allow us to both fill in those gaps, and sometimes that may be adding courses or altering some of the existing courses, but sometimes it may be adding complete degrees or specializations that make that work. So where are you transferring then?
I'm not sure. I'm looking at UT Austin.
Okay, very good.
Thank
very
you.
good.
Dr. May, I'm
Yes.
Andre Duncan, Social Media Director for the Richland Chronicle, and my major is Mass Communications and Broadcasting.
Oh, well, very good, very good. I didn't see a selfie or anything going on.
They took our photos. Yeah, my question for you is that at Richland College, the criminal justice degree program is being eliminated or phased out. Are there any other programs that we should be aware of?
And I'm not. And I actually wasn't aware of what was going on here at Richland College. We do have other programs around the district. Certainly, we have an academy at Eastfield. Brookhaven has a criminal justice program, and others that are there. So under the new structure, that certainly is going to be made available elsewhere to that. But it is a annual process that we do go through, looking at programs and identifying those that may not have had the number of graduates that we were hoping to see, and yet others that we're having to kind of keep the lid on where there's more demand than we have supply, and that allows us to free up space and actually serve more students as we meet those needs.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Chancellor, I am Jack Ramirez Bernal. I am the managing editor for the Richland Chronicle, and I'm right now taking a major on aviation logistics and journalism.
Oh, okay, very good, very good.
Yes. So my question is, will one college transition result in a consolidation of resources? For example, a few campuses have honors programs, and also Richland is one of 3 schools in the country that has total reintegration program, the TRI. Will these programs be available on other campuses?
Yeah, it really is. One of the things that we've not done historically is to really leverage best practices and share them. Now, sometimes that may have been a resource problem, but usually it's a leadership issue. And so you just picked one where as we look at the honors program here at Richland, you've got great leadership in the program. Then that makes it easier for us to scale that around to the other colleges or the other locations and make that possible, because that is a benefit of one college. If it exists anywhere, it exists for the whole. That's out there as we go forward. So we'll be really right now. Some of that's going on, but it's really what I would call more organic, kind of growing up from in. We really haven't put together a team that's really focusing on that. But in the future, as we get some of the other projects out of the way related to this transition, then we'll really begin to be more intentional about what we're doing with programs like honors, maybe international programs and others that exist.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And in terms of affecting our students, do you know how the new one college model will affect our international students and their immigration process?
It should have no impact for our international students. They right now they're applying through one of the 7 colleges to get their I-20s that they need, their student visas for that purpose. We'll still maintain those relationships, offices. If there's a local presence and we need that there, that's something that's certainly going to be available and provided.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Chancellor, my second question is to you. Will the departments on different campuses share the same naming convention and services offered? For example, what we call Office of Student Life at Richland College is known as the Office of Student Engagement and Retention at Edgefield.
Okay. Yeah. Great. And we are going to try to make those more alike than where we can and where it makes sense. So that we have a common vocabulary but we've been working on that for some time anyway. We started it several years ago with our websites and working in that space. As long if it doesn't seem to matter, then it won't matter. But every once in a while, someone is using the same name for something, but it's a very different thing as it's there, and and it gets confusing, particularly if students are going to multiple locations. So if it means one thing over here but something different over here, and we've seen that negatively impact students. We've been trying to really watch that and deal with that for years, but some things just take a while to kind of pop up on the radar.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, my next question for you is, will technology become uniform across the district for teaching platforms and communication networks? For example, Eastfield has an app by Ready Education Inc. that includes lost and found, ride sharing, buying and selling of books, housing, and other items of interest to college students.
Yeah, again, we want to leverage what's out there and what's working to make that available for all students. The goal is that just because you're at one college, you shouldn't be necessarily getting advantages that aren't available at an other location. So we'll be really looking at all that. That's not going to be just a like pulling the switch. Some of this may take a few years actually to walk through, but certainly if it's good for students and a benefit, then we want to leverage that and share that elsewhere.
Thank you, Dr. May.
Alrighty, so my next question for you is, will additional bachelor's degree programs be part of the DCCC transition, and will they be available on all campuses?
Great question on the backyard. The Texas legislature gave us the authority to offer 3. And so our commitment to them was that the first one would be early childhood education, which has now been developed, taken to the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, and approved. We still have one more hurdle, and that is to get it approved by our accreditor, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, Commission on Colleges. So we will be submitting that paperwork by March 1 for their consideration in June. And yes, once the goal has always been to provide universal access to a baccalaureate degree. So we will be working out strategies to make that happen in the future. Because it's early childhood, we know that a lot of the individuals that want to become teachers and work there really want to stay in a neighborhood area that they're familiar with, and so we'll be really designing it more with that sort of thought in mind as we go forward. Then we will be looking to add additional baccalaureates in the future. And we'll probably start developing another one right away now that we've gotten approval for the early childhood degree.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Where does the district stand on vocational education for state licensed trades?
Yeah, the great and a very important one. Right now we really are seeing and experiencing in North Texas a shortage of a lot of skills in a lot of areas. And it's not just limited to construction, but it is in construction or welding or in other trades. We see it in healthcare. We're seeing it in IT and technology and others. So as I mentioned, our bond was delayed. But one of the project that we're going forward with is a construction science technology building at Northlake College. That's an important one for us. Those jobs are in high demand right now, and so we're expanding that program out and making it larger as well. So we support that. We also, Northlake, particularly in the area of construction technology, has a partnership with Wilmer Hutchins High School in order to make that available to those students as well. So that's been an area where we have been investing in and will continue. And actually part of what we're doing with the bonds is a lot of these, our campuses and buildings were built 30, 25, 40 years ago in many cases, before there was technology and in a lot of cases. Now, they really don't adapt as easily, so some of our new work will be to make it more flexible, more adaptive, the ability to change, and to add in programs in the area of CTE where that may not have been possible because many times those take specialized facilities.
Has that conversation included plumbers and electricians?
We do offer that now, and again, not every college offers every program. I'm not aware if it's here at Richland. If it is, it's non-credit as such. But we do offer this at other locations throughout the district.
Thank you, Chancellor.
Now, my question would be: are there plans for any new campuses?
Plans for any new campuses? Yes, actually, there are. One of the challenges that we've realized is that at El Centro we're out of space and really don't have the ability to get more space. It's downtown. We own 5 buildings and we lease part of 2 additional buildings. That has really become something that's not workable to meet the needs. As you know, and may be aware, downtown is growing. There are lots of a lot more residential units downtown, people living downtown, working downtown. So we are going to build a new El Centro College, and then we will sell the existing facilities that we have to be used at other projects at other locations in the district. So that will be a big undertaking. That's from the time we get the authority to go forward, which we're waiting on the lawsuit to be settled at this time. Once we put out the RFQ to hire a developer to start that one, that's going to be 36 months before we're able to complete that project and move forward. So that will be a little bit down the road, but that's planned. Other than that, we're going to work with our existing campuses and locations and improve them with the bond.
Do we know where the new El Centro College will be located at?
No, not yet. There are only a couple of places that have enough land to accommodate us downtown, or a few places. So we will do a request for qualifications for a developer, because we have partners that are talking to us about going on the site. Dallas Independent School District is talking about building a school on the site with us. University of North Texas, we're in discussions with them about building a facility on the site. Southern Methodist University, we're talking to them about doing a joint project there as such. So, but we don't want to own the school district's facilities. We don't want to own University of North Texas. So we'll get a developer that will say, we need this amount of land for all of these projects, But in dealing with the Dallas County Community College District, it's only these buildings that you will work with us on. You'll need to work with the others on the directly on the other side. So once we get that done for us, it takes about 18 months really to develop the plans of a project this large and to make that happen, and then we'll roll that out from there. But so we expect to get probably at least 2, maybe 3 proposals, but it won't be a lot because there's not the ability to bring together contiguous plots of land is very difficult downtown.
That makes sense. Thank you. Also, the planned tuition increase of $20 a semester hour is expected to pay for free access to digital textbooks. Will devices also be provided to students?
Yes, that's the goal, and we haven't worked out all the details of that. But we'll also provide hard copy where that's the option. So about 48% of the courses right now have digital content in them. 52% are going to be traditional types of textbooks, and you'll get all of that day one when you apply. They'll just bag up your hard copy books. They'll be new. They'll be in the bookstore. We'll create a digital bookshelf for you that will house your digital content. We also we had previously negotiated with a particular vendor about a device that will connect to the internet and be able to be used that way. As part of that, we'll go back out now and do that again. We've had to push the deadline back a bit because of that. We'll do that again. We're also talking to companies and organizations that can help perhaps with internet access at home, where not every household has that available to them.
Mm-hmm. And so if the deadline is pushed back a bit, do we have an estimate of what time that would come
Yeah,
into effect?
we'll start this in the fall of 2020.
All right then, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Will it just cover textbooks, or will it also cover art supplies, or probably
Yeah,
lab science
and that
kits?
was actually part of what caused the delay, as we realized that in many art programs and others that students were being asked to go to art stores. Well, if you're paying the $20, it's just fair that you get the benefit of that too. So it actually cost us about 6 months on the implementation while we figured out all the courses that had some other materials that we needed to provide for students.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, since we're talking about tuition increase, so my question is, would that affect financial aid? For example, like I'm gonna use me as an example. I'm a citizen. I just became a citizen last year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Haven't filed for financial aid yet. So let's say if I file for next year, fall semester 2020, would this affect my financial aid?
It will actually a slight bit probably give you a little bit more in terms of dollars, but not overall. Okay. And the tuition at $79 a semester credit hour is still among the lowest in the nation. It's well below most other colleges in the state of Texas. So that will allow, if you do apply, receive a Pell Grant. Most cases, the Pell Grant will cover the entire cost of your tuition in that case, which now means it will also cover your learning materials, books, and other things too.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You bet. Apply.
In continuation and reference of the tuition increase talk, Texas State Law Education Code 54 states that fee models cannot be changed without consulting with students first of what is required. Who did you talk to and when?
Well, we have visited with others, but that actually applies to universities in that process. But we certainly spent several years actually engaging students, talking about particularly the fact that 40% of students showed up and they weren't able to get the textbooks, and that meant that they were really being left behind. I'm sure you know friends that never, and it's a real hardship on them. Mm-hmm. And so we realized that. So we began talking to students early on in the process about this. One thing that we did several years ago was to also drop and quit taking any profit off of books as well, so that we could help more students. It helps more students buy their books. It went up a slight amount, about 6%, but it really wasn't enough. So we've been working to really make sure that we could do this for everyone and reduce the total cost. So this will actually save students about $27 million aggregate-wise every year on textbooks as opposed to what you were paying before.
All right, thank you, Chancellor.
And that's with us not taking profits. So.
Thank you very much for that.
Alrighty, so my last question for you is the student government associations are set up to serve as an advisory council. Shouldn't student government be the conduit to get this type of information to and from the students?
Well, hopefully through your campus. Certainly I meet with the student government leadership usually a couple of times a year and have that conversation with them. But I'm not aware of what happens here at Richland or the other colleges, but that certainly should be a part of those conversations.
Okay, thank you.
There have been surveys distributed and focus groups conducted. Who is initiating these studies?
You may have to be more specific with me as it relates to what topic or.
In regards to student focus groups that have been published in the DCCD name.
Okay. That may be part of our brand equity study that we're doing to look at that, but I'm not familiar. I don't really have a good answer for you there as to.
No,
I'm not fully aware of that. So.
But most of my question was actually answered in April's answer. So
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, my answer was heavily dependent on his.
Sorry, I should have been prepped better.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, for just sakes, it was basically how are people being selected for any feedback, and is the concentration being selected amongst one group, saying honors? Well,
one of the things we've done historically is to create opportunities to really learn about students in terms of challenges, barriers. We did what we called a student experience study a few years back. That's when we realized that we really needed to do something about transportation. That's when we made the decisions to start offering the DART Go Pass to students. It's when we began to really learn that we needed to expand our food pantries and meet those needs. So we probably do have a lot going on, but that's really important for us to understand, particularly what's getting in the way and what we can do to help with that.
To clarify, I think Andre and Jack's question is in regards to tuition increase.
Okay.
And like the focus group.
That was really handled out of our business services area, so I'm not sure who was involved with that one, but and how they were selected.
All right. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and finish off with our last question, but safety on campus is a concern for all of our students, yet they feel like they're not receiving consistent training. Is there a plan to offer active shooter training to students other than drills?
Active shooter training. We've been investing heavily. We did a lot of work to overhaul our police department a couple of years ago. We now run a force of about 200 officers really focused on safety. Now, there's been a shortage of police officers in Dallas. You may have seen that. That's there. So we aren't at capacity right now in terms of those numbers. We're also have invested heavily in infrastructure. Enabling us to put in more safety features, making it easier to lock down campuses, putting in more cameras in the future going forward to address those needs. So we're really going to be using a lot more technology to help in that space and to learn that. And then certainly I'm not sure what we do in terms of the firearm safety, but we do provide training to our employees in that space on the active shooter, what to do, how to deal with that situation.
And do you know about the video that's in production for orientation? Do you know when that will come out?
I do not know when that will come out. But.
All right then. Well, thank you for being here.
You bet. Thank you.
I have a follow-up.
Oh, you've got a question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We're almost over.
Yes, sir. We're almost over. So, last question. So, is there a move to start an American football program?
A football program. That I'm pretty sure is no.
That's my answer. Thank you.
You bet. Yep.
Is it alright if I ask one more question?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you please expand upon uses for the Equity app? Because as you know, with the recent tornado, that got pretty popular.
Yeah, and that was really timely, wasn't it? Where we we've been working on this for a few years. The Equity app allows us to administer emergency aid to students, and what we're really interested in are students so that this may cause some situation may cause them to have to drop out of school or complete. So we want to do whatever we can. We don't have unlimited resources. What we allow is $500 once a year for a student to deal with emergency need. And of course, the tornado hit on Sunday, the 20th of October, meaning that a lot of students were suddenly affected by that, and so our timing was good. We still limit the 500. We had planned to do a limit of 25,000 per month. We took that cap off. I think we've now done over 70,000 going out to help hundreds of students. So we're really glad we're able to make that difference. And then this will help us. We've got to figure out how much we need to have available for the future. So I think it's been a success so far, and really glad that students have been able to take advantage of that.
Actually, I have a question regarding that. How can you determine if students are eligible for the funds?
Yeah, it's really looking, it's an online process because we're doing it at scale, but there is somebody that then reviews that and makes the determination. We work with a group really out of the Philadelphia area, Temple University, that are really experts in this space. This is what they do, and they understand what the needs are. And because we don't have unlimited dollars, we really want to be sure that there's hardships that you can work around, but there's some hardships you can't. And so since we will always never have enough money to take care of every single need that exists, we do want to screen to make sure that we're really helping somebody that would not have been able to stay in school with them, and that saves them money, and frankly saves us in the long run as well.
I think we had a couple more questions that may have gone unanswered. Nope. Okay then. All right then. I think we're all finished. Any of you guys have questions? No. Good. All right then. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you very much. Good to see all of you.
See you too. Thank you.
Of course. And that concludes our conversation with DCCCD Chancellor Dr. Joe May. The full program will be posted online soon at richlandstudentmedia.com. Thank you for joining us.